Hey, what's up, everybody? Back at it with another one. Today, I want to dive into something interesting. Swaggy P reaching out to, or you could say recruiting, Russell Westbrook for the revamped Gilbert Arenas show. And honestly, I think this could turn into a really compelling moment for reasons I'll break down right after we roll the clip of Swaggy P making his pitch. Now, plenty of people have had opinions on Russ over the years. I'm not sure he's the type to step into podcasting or media. The guy's clearly got his hands full outside of basketball. Westbrook's got money tied up in all kinds of ventures, so maybe he's just a more private guy by nature. But man, given how his career narrative got twisted toward the end, this would be a fascinating watch. Because let's be real, a lot of the coverage boiled it down to this: a stat patter, a bad shooter, a selfish player. That's the story that stuck. And when he finally retired, suddenly everybody wanted to say something nice about him, almost like they needed that on a record, just in case he ever did pop up on a podcast or in an interview and called them out. Like, okay, that's sweet, but where was this energy the last 6 or 7 years? Pretty much since his run in OKC ended, what exactly were you saying about me daily? And that's really the question, right? How much of that criticism was actually fair basketball analysis, and how much was just a narrative people kept writing because it was easy? So let's get into it. We'll show you Swaggy P's invite and then break down some of the quotes from the guys who've had plenty to say about Russ. Let's check it out.
It's over, my nigga. I love you all, but it's over, Russ. Come on over. Podcast Russ now, baby. Congrats. But your ass is through. You over here with us too, baby. Hey, man, it's only about 3 LA niggas left. Hey, DeMar, don't get too comfortable. Your ass is next. You might as well turn in your papers too, baby. Hey, look, I had some great careers, top 75. Really, top 5 point guards, top 5. Hey, look, but we got a spot for you on the couch, man. Sign up. Come on over to Gilbert Arenas, baby. Yeah. The West Why Not? Why Not podcast coming soon. Hey, you got a lot of time to talk about Patrick Beverly now. Do what you want to do, baby. But, hey, man, congrats on the career, man. LA, stand up for your boy. Why not? Mr. Neighborhood himself. Hey, but look though, it comes a time you go from superstar to star to corner nigga to gone. Don't let it hurt you, man. It just happens, man. It just happens. You can't be cussing motherfuckers out like that. That's what happens when you cuss a nigga out. Superstar to star to corner nigga to just another nigga passing by. You just another motherfucker passing by to retire. Congrats, brother. We love you, man. Hell of a year. Hell of a career, Hell of a career. Why not? Honor the gift.
Yeah, man. So looking at this, Russ is one of the all-time greats, and now he's officially hung it up. My guess is his personality is more about stepping back and enjoying time with his family. As I mentioned, he's absolutely killing it in the business world, but I want to revisit some of the people who came after him over the years, because honestly, that's exactly why I think it'd be great to see him dip even a toe into media. Let's start with Skip Bayless, who spent years calling him Russell Westbrook. He told fans to respect his name, and that jab stuck so hard, people started chanting it courtside. You remember that stretch where Russ was having fans ejected from games? There was that moment in the tunnel, heading back to the court, where a guy called him Westbrook walking by and things escalated from there. This all traces back to Skip, and the people who tune into his show every single day picked it up too. It clearly started wearing on Russ, especially with his family sitting right there in the stands, hearing strangers call their dad Westbrook instead of Westbrook. Then there's Stephen A. Smith, who consistently framed Russell's legacy around empty stat totals on First Take. And you can't forget Rob Parker, who came after Russ Westbrook hard during that rough Sacramento Kings season last year after Russ went on that now famous rant. He called out reporters for making sweeping generalizations about players and teams, asking them point blank if they'd actually ever sat in on a team practice. What I think Russ was really doing in that moment was standing up for the younger guys who hadn't yet dealt with reporters coming in and quietly splitting a locker room apart. Get one guy to say something, get another to react to it, and suddenly there's a manufactured story creating real tension in that room. Russ was putting himself on the line for that. Parker's response? He called it the most absurd rant he'd ever heard from Westbrook, accusing him of trying to rewrite his entire career narrative by going after local reporters simply doing their jobs. Martin Weiss, Parker's co-host, added that Russ behaves as though the media invented the negative perception surrounding him, when in reality it was his style of play, whatever that's supposed to mean, and his unwillingness to accept the diminished role late in his career that did the damage. Weiss argued Russ fundamentally reads criticism of his game as a personal attack, and honestly, I'd push back on that. Being mocked to your face, courtside, during a game, that's disrespect, plain and simple. Sure, fans and media will say things, but when it skips setting the tone and everyone else runs with it, that's not just fans messing around or trying to rattle you. That's a manufactured narrative built around your name, your game, your entire career.
Colin Cowherd weighed in too, breaking down Westbrook's MVP season and his heavy usage rate on the herd. His take, Westbrook's triple-doubles were stat padding, empty calorie numbers, spectacular for regular season highlight reels, but ultimately harmful to winning at a championship level. Even local beat writers piled on. Barry Trammell, back in 2019, talked about getting frozen out by Russ, saying he kept asking questions with zero expectation of an answer because the media shouldn't cave to Westbrook's need to control the narrative, and that this desire for control was, in his view, the root of the tension between Westbrook and the press in general. This dates back to Oklahoma City, apparently as far back as 2015, based on what Trammell wrote in that 2019 column, so this friction wasn't new, even during OKC's most successful years. Then there's Matt George, covering the Kings last season, back in March 2026, who said reporters are simply there to document what happens at practice and in games, that asking hard questions after a lopsided loss isn't manufacturing controversy, it's just reporting what happened, and that accepting that reality has always been a struggle for Russ. And Fred Katz, a respected voice covering the Thunder, said that if you asked Westbrook a basic follow-up to clarify something about the game, or asked anything he didn't like, he'd stare you down, drop a few curse words, and shut you out entirely, sometimes for an entire month. You were essentially dead to him after that. Now, a lot of this comes from the reporter's side of the story, but I think there's more to it than that. It's rarely just about what question gets asked. It's about how that question gets carried back to the newsroom, how it gets written up, whether your words are transcribed exactly as spoken or reshaped into something else. Are you quoted in a way that leaves room for misinterpretation, or is the full context, the tone, the framing, the setup actually included? That's exactly why I think Westbrook getting into media could be valuable. He'd finally have a platform to set some of that record straight. Like I said, Russ comes across as someone who just wants to be present with his family, watch his kids grow up, and be there for his wife. He's earned that, and what a career it was. I'll never forget him going head-to-head with Oklahoma City after Durant left, that nose-to-nose energy in that first game back. To this day, outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's still viewed as one of the top players in that franchise's history. The Thunder organization loves him, and he's stayed connected to that community ever since. Now, if there's a fair criticism in all this, it's probably that Russ struggled to adapt his game and accept a smaller role as his career went on. That's a legitimate basketball conversation, depending on how you view it. But when it comes to the West Brick chants and reporters claiming he lacks accountability, I'd want to actually see how those interviews were written up and framed. Again, it's not always about what's asked in the locker room. Sometimes it's about a reporter's track record, what they've published before. When someone has a pattern, you already sense how they're going to spin your answer before you even respond. From the outside, it just looks like Russ glaring at someone like they're crazy, but what's that reporter's actual history with him? That's all I've got for this one. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching.